Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to recap episodes 3 and 4 of The Last Dance. If you haven't watched these yet, this is absolutely riveting, incredible, behind the scenes look television, focusing on the most famous, arguably, sports team of all time and the greatest, undoubtedly, basketball player of all time. Uh, Must watch. I'm loving this content. And with COVID 19 and everybody being upset and stressed and everything, this is the perfect time to release this. So kudos to ESPN. Uh, Let me dive in and talk about episodes 3 and 4. These were known as sort of the episodes that focused on Dennis Rodman. For those who don't remember, Rodman was his own guy. Rodman danced to the beat of his own drum, and you couldn't really coach him or motivate him and in the traditional ways. And the beauty with Phil Jackson is that he understood this. Phil Jackson received some criticism for, uh, you know, or actually not so much criticism as people just really thought that his job was easy because he had Michael Jordan. When you see the personalities that this team had, you actually start to understand how hard his job was. Um, he really pushed the right buttons with Dennis Rodman. He understood that Rodman was a unique individual, to say the least, and he wasn't somebody who you could kind of mold or fit into a box. Uh, the, Now, most of the content from these episodes I've already been kind of aware of, but what I did not know was that Phil Jackson granted Rodman a 48-hour vacation. Basically, the first part of the year when Pippen was hurt, Rodman was counted on heavily to be the number two guy, and he reached a point where he started to feel some type of burnout. And he went to Phil Jackson and basically said, "I need 48 hours away from the team." Phil granted him that. Now, a typical coach would say absolutely not, but Phil really knew how to motivate and get the best out of Dennis, so he granted him that. And as a result, there were some pretty wild stories in the documentary about his time with Carmen Electra, things that he did. Speaking of Carmen Electra, wow, she's still very, very attractive. So, uh, now the story of her hiding under the sheets when Michael Jordan came into Rodman's hotel room, that was absolutely wild. Very awesome content. And so Rodman did his 48-hour trip, got that out of the way, and he was good to go for the rest of the season. Uh, a few other things really stood out from the documentary as well. Probably the first 5 or so years of Jordan's career, actually more 3 to 4, he was a one-man show. It was give Michael Jordan the ball, and then everybody else just get out of the way. Hero ball, as I like to call it. And it worked against just about every team in the league, but they just could not beat the Pistons. And it's like they were almost kind of bashing their heads against the wall. Um, Jordan just wasn't able to get the help that he needed from his teammates. He would just first couple times against the Pistons, he would just lower his head, drive to the basket. The Pistons had the Jordan rules, and it just wasn't working. Now, the interesting thing with Phil Jackson is not only did he have to manage the egos, but he had to talk Michael Jordan into believing that his way would be the way that would win. And his way was running the triangle offense and getting the ball out of Jordan's hands more often. Now, Jordan didn't buy in at first, but eventually he did, and we saw the success of other teammates getting involved in the triangle offense, and it finally worked out in 1991 when they finally beat their nemesis, the Pistons. And the thing about that really stood out was I already knew the story about the Pistons walking off the court, so that wasn't really new information for me. I guess what I was kind of surprised to hear about was that there was still animosity, and we've heard some barbs traded in recent days between Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer. So 30 years later, these guys are still pissed at each other. That was awesome. The third and final thing that really stood out from this was let's rewind back a few years from 91 to 89 when the Bulls played the Cavs in the Eastern Conference semifinals. As everybody has seen by now over the years, Jordan hit the game-winning shot over Craig Elo. We got the fist pump and all that. What Jordan actually said after he made that shot was news to me. I'm not going to say that on here. You can look it up for yourself. What I didn't know was that Ron Harper was pissed that he didn't cover Jordan on that last play. And he's still pissed. Basically, when he found out from head coach Lenny Wilkins that they were going to put Elo on him, he was like, at that point, he's like, screw it. Like, he was livid, and you can tell he still is livid. And it's funny, they ended up becoming future teammates. So the ball was inbound to Jordan. He hit the shot over Elo. Who knows what would have happened if they had put Ron Harper on him instead. But yeah, it's just funny to still hear people angry about things that happened a long time ago. But that's competitive sports for you. So anyway, just want to give you some of my thoughts about episodes 3 and 4 of The Last Dance. Riveting television. If you haven't watched it, please do so. If you're a sports fan, it is just grade A content about the greatest basketball player in the team of all time. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.